So I dug this out of the garage the other day from a deep dark corner where it's been sitting for a long time. Thought I'd give it a go, but ran into a few issues. Tyres are perished, shockies are jamming, they're not working as they should. You can probably hear that, they're well and truly crackly. Drive shafts are starting to rust. It's just beyond actually going for a run. So I jumped on AliExpress, bought a few parts, and I figured I'd make a few videos, run you through what I'm doing to get it going again. So first and most obvious thing I needed was tyres. Ordered these Super Swampers, Rocks tyre. They're cheap. They should work. They're grippy. The tyres themselves are actually quite soft and reasonable. But with the installed foams you get with them, they are stupidly hard, non-compliant, and way too stiff for any crawling. Don't know if it really means anything to anyone, but 135 grams per tyre. They're a 2.2 inch, or to suit 2.2 inch rim. I think 118 mil tall. So not massive, but big enough. But here's the bit that I was worried about, was the weight that you got to put on these just to get them to comply. You go to 5 kilos. It's about 5 kilos before you even start seeing any deformation on the bottom. So, short of buying new foams, because I can't wait, I've just dug out the crappy old foams from the probably 12-year-old tyres, which are much softer, more compliant. They are starting to feel a bit tacky, so they're not going to last much longer, but they'll get me going for a while. We'll see if they work. Straight up, huge difference. We've got a flex, might be too much, but at least they're going to be somewhat grippier than they were. But I do think I'll have to order some decent inserts or foams for these, because they're not going to really be that great. These do seem a little bit too soft, if anything. So to mount all these tyres up, I've bought another set of wheels, alloy, beadlock. They seem pretty decent on first inspection. We've got 6 bolts in here just to undo them, which splits them in half. We've got a 6 bolt center hub, which is removable, so if you want to change the offset, but that's all alloy as well. No plastic in here at all. Not extremely heavy, but I'm not looking for a comp rig, so probably a good weight to start with. Pulled these ones apart already. The threads seem all clean and easy. Nothing bound, nothing really stuck as it was coming apart. So we've got the outer section with the beadlock attached. We don't have to undo all of those bolts on the outside, which is great. Then you got your inner, which basically that way, that one sits on, and they bolt together in the back, and beadlock ring to go in the middle. I thought I'd probably weigh one, so if anyone wants to know, we got 112 grams each rim, so should be weighty enough once I got a tyre on there. Right, so tyre and wheel together at 238 grams, so overall probably a kilo or just under for the 4 wheels and tyres once mounted. So they're all mounted, looking a lot better than the old plastic ones that I used to have on the rig. Should definitely dress it up nicely, and hopefully I'll grip a bit better than the old ones that are falling apart. Total weight of the whole lot, as you probably guessed, comes to about 950 grams. So 952 to be exact. So not too bad. Impressions altogether, definitely good quality for the price. Like, I paid no more than $50 for the wheels and tyres together delivered, so I can't complain too much about that. But foams, definitely too hard, even with these other ones in there, because they are an airtight rim. Now, I still don't have a lot of flex on there at all. Maybe I should just loosen them up, squash it a little bit before I tighten them together, but that will be trial and error, I guess. Give it a go once it's actually on the car and going. But to get it to actually compress and conform a little bit, I'm not having to put anywhere near as much weight on them with those foams, so they're not too bad. I wouldn't rate them as a competition tread. They're definitely not going to climb anything massively difficult, but for the price, well worth it. So when I was pulling the wheels off, I remembered why this thing was sidelined. Turn the steering, that's definitely not moving anything inside that servo. It's pretty much cooked, which I suppose was inevitable considering this was probably one of the cheapest servos I could get my hands on at the time. I don't think it really was designed for a crawler, so back on AliExpress or eBay, I'll find myself some more parts and keep going with the rebuild. Stay tuned. So what I thought was tires, clean, new servo, kind of has turned into a larger project. As I started pulling things apart, I remembered how much of a junk bin specialist thing actually was. There was nuts, bolts, screws that did not match, too long. There was even bolts or nuts made out of plastic that I just put a hole into. So stripped it back to all the parts that I want to keep. So at this stage, it's going to be a much larger project and probably a few more videos than I initially thought.